The new 2v2 mode just came out, so I had to get out of League retirement and see what it was about. The new set of TFT also helped with that. So I grabbed a friend and we were like,
oh shit, here we go again.
And to be honest, I was pleasantly surprised. On the jump, things are already slightly different. You still have the ban phase, but there's no more rune pages or the need to choose summoner spells. Instead, you're automatically given flash and flee, which is basically just ghost. And once you're in, what you're greeted with is what resembles a TFT area more than anything on the Rift. The gameplay itself is exactly as the name implies. You fight 2v2 with the last duo standing as the winner. I didn't watch any gameplay or anything, so I initially thought that maybe it'd be some sort of battle royale with all 4 duos, but it's just consecutive 2v2s. League, dare I say, was fun again, and I grinded it out. It was like a mix of TFT with the augments, and exactly what I'd imagined a quick game mode of League would be. The queues were nearly instantaneous, and even though the augments weren't that game changing in terms of how the game fundamentally works, I mean some of them are literally just the rune system. The only ones that you could argue would maybe be Blade Vaults, the switching place one, or the one that ties you together. But I'd argue Blade Vaults just feels like another ability, and the other two are so utterly useless, they're rendered unusable, even though the swapping one makes for some montage plays occasionally. Which is unfortunate since Castle reminds me of Toto's ability from Jujutsu Kaisen, but this is an anime and has a 30-second cooldown in game. Chauffeur though, this one is just nah, come on, nah. This one's not it. While searching YouTube for some gameplay footage of Chauffeur, I saw that it did have some broken interactions and some viable comms, but to be honest, it still doesn't change my perspective on the augment. Anyway, my argument is that they're both still more useful for trolling your duo than actually being good in most scenarios. While editing, I found another cool augment / lore Easter egg that I didn't know existed, or if it still exists, or if it ever existed in the game mode, since I couldn't find anything about it online. I'd probably never see or hear about it if I didn't have to search for the names of Castle and Chauffeur though. It's just another neat thing that Riot put in for Arena. But overall, it was just a breath of fresh air from what I was expecting from League. There's even a rank system, even though super small. Now, if I had stopped after a few games, I would have overlooked everything else. I would have been like, yeah, League's trending in the right direction. But then I had the thought, if this is fun, maybe, just maybe, normal League can't be that bad.
Oh my god, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
Ooh boy, I couldn't have been any more wrong. For my first placement game, it wasn't that bad. Certainly not as fun as 2v2, but definitely not completely unenjoyable. Now before I go into the main point, I'll be completely transparent and say that before 2v2 mode ever came out, I only played ranked. Whether flex with 5 friends or solo duo queue, I would never queue up for a normal game, and even if my lobby had only 4 people, we would just play ARAM. Which you might say is a straight path to a mental asylum, but to be honest, I would never play normals anyway. Now back onto the main point. With each passing ranked game, the fun with League I was having was slowly slipping away. And then even when I went back to 2v2, 2v2 was quickly showing its flaws. After the 3rd game, I and everyone else in my lobbies had a good grasp on the meta, because in League, the meta is determined nearly instantaneously, before the game mode even comes out. Lobby after lobby, I would see the same characters, and it was nearly impossible to play anything else. I didn't really want to queue up for a game if I wasn't playing with somebody I knew. The more I played, the more I remembered everything I hated about League, and 2v2 was not going to solve those issues. It was just a temporary reprieve Riot used for people to subvert their eyes from the issues. I'm not going to preach on how shit the game is, because there's already tons of videos talking about it. And every time I see a content creator playing the game, they always talk about the horrible state League is in. And many of the people that I used to watch are reduced to taking extended breaks, quitting the game, and moving to TFT or other games. Or cleaning pools? Maybe League finally got to them. But basically, the TLDR of League hate / quit videos His game sucks, damage is too high, the new and reworked champions are insufferable to play against, and there's no real skill expression, which I completely agree with and can't really add anything since I'm not more knowledgeable than any of these high elo players. If the people with the most obligation, I mean, they literally make money from it, though you could argue some of them could do variety if they wanted to, don't want to play the game? Then what incentive does a casual have to play? None. There is no reason to play this game, especially if your friends list is as dead as mine. Most of the people I started playing the game with have long quitted, and those still playing didn't even bother to play the new game mode. They still just played whatever they played before, either ARAM, normal, or ranked. They just stayed playing that. If some of my real life friends didn't occasionally play the game, I would never touch League nowadays. The game is simply not fun, and there is no indication that it will ever change. I remember some streamer, I think it was Tyler1, but I'm not gonna bother try finding the clip, saying that the durability patch would end up doing nothing. And now, here we are. Damage is higher than ever, CC is higher than ever, and the fun is completely gone. And maybe it's too late for them to change anything. With the character designs only becoming more and more overloaded, it's only inevitable for the game to head down this direction. But rather than try to fix anything, they'll say some nice bullshit, release a new game mode, and some new skins. And that's just talking about the game. Let's not get started on the community, the balancing team, the client, and the punishment system. A little tangent warning here, but I literally got a chat restriction for typing in one game to this Soraka for soft griefing me, literally refusing to play the game. He doesn't have support item stacked after the game finishes, while the dude gets away scot-free. And I'm not gonna act like I'm a saint because I did type one of their trigger words, and everybody knows to avoid typing that. And in hindsight, maybe I deserved to get hit with a chat restriction, and I totally would have been okay with it if this guy also received punishment. But that in and of itself shows how shit the system is. If you type anything, you'll nearly instantaneously receive punishment. But make a game miserable for your teammates? Riot could care less. And that's not even mentioning the methods to exploit the punishment system. Riot does not care about its player base or the game. It's been years and nothing has changed. They'll continue to spew pretty words and rack in the money from skins, while the issues relevant back then are even more prevailing and obvious now. But hey, if you still enjoy the game, then that's great, and I hope you can keep enjoying it. But to me, League is dead. TFT wasn't bad though.